So there's been this huge Twitter fight that's been going on between Russia and Ukraine that got so heated that Russia actually invaded the country of Ukraine. We found this out when Keemstar tweeted out, "Breaking! Putin orders Russian invasion of eastern Ukraine. Hashtag drama alert." He then elaborates on the situation further in this Twitter video titled, "Russian invasion of Ukraine explained."
Listen, here's the deal. Ukraine had a bunch of nukes and they gave up all their nukes as long as NATO would defend them. For those that don't know what NATO is a group of countries that have partnered together and they're like, you know what, we're going to be the Avengers, right? Guess who's a part of NATO? The United States, all right? So the United States told Ukraine, give up your nukes and we'll protect you and you won't have any problems. Well, now they just got invaded by Russia. And guess what? Us, the Avengers, NATO, is going to have to fight, okay? Don't listen to this bullshit with Joe Biden and everyone else like, oh, we're going to put sanctions and we're going to sanction this and we're going to do this. And bro, we are going to fucking war. There's no other way. Like literally there's a treaty with Ukraine. We have to defend them. Bro, I'm telling you right now, this is a goddamn mess. It's a giant fucking mess. And listen, the reason why Putin's even doing this is because we made a deal with Russia that we would never let Ukraine be a part of NATO, and they were trying to let Ukraine be a part of NATO, bro. These are everybody, these world leaders in these countries are backstabbing pieces of fucking shit. And now we're gonna have to square up behind the fucking school. And guess who's involved? All of us! Because of alliances. And if you don't know this, George Washington warned everybody of alliances among countries because it would turn into world wars, which it did with World War I, World War II, and now World War III. Fucking idiots. Should have listened to that wooden tooth bastard.
Very well said, Keemstar. Russia responds to the drama by saying, blackmail, intimidation, and threats are the only tools the US policy has in its arsenal, trapped as it is in the stereotypes of a unipolar world, and a false certainty that the US can impose its own global rules on everyone. This does not work. Angel Graz responds by ratioing them. Joe Biden says, Russia alone is responsible for the death and destruction this attack will bring, and the United States and its allies and partners will respond in a united and divisive way. The world will hold Russia accountable. Ukraine responds by posting art depicting Hitler looking down at Putin with approval. Jake Lucky responds by saying, countries posting wartime memes. Life really can't be real. Chris responds, it hurts my head that people don't know the right term and call it a meme. It's a political cartoon and propaganda. You'd know that if you paid attention in history class. Point Fraud responds by saying, y'all gonna realize one day political cartoons is just a form of early memes. Ukraine follows up their post by saying, this is not a meme, but our and your reality right now. Ricky Berwick says, are you on drugs? Ricky then shows a picture of himself armed and ready for battle and captions it by saying, if Russia attacks Canada, I'm ready. He also posts a picture that says Chris Chan is Russia and his mother is Ukraine. I'm Alex says, the war in Ukraine means nothing to me until I have signed a change.org petition. Young Crip says, remember what you are fighting for, showing a picture of Abigail Shapiro in an army helmet. Nolan says, some guy on MSNBC just said, Putin is talking about Nazis in NATO, the two N-words. Here's the clip.
They're anti-Semites and they're Nazis. What's the provenance of this discussion?
Well, you're absolutely right. That's when he started using the phrase Nazis supported by NATO, right? The two N-words, as we call them.
Colossal is Crazy says, I feel it's very selfish of Russia to invade the same day Elden Ring comes out. Louis Spears says, how will this affect the price of Bored Apes? Your fellow Arab says, I'm boycotting vodka after this. Turkey Tom says, finally, showing that 2 years ago someone called JREG made a video titled, please conclude the World War trilogy. J-Station says, I align completely with Putin's traditional views and support Russia fully. Putin is the greatest leader in the world. Stephen A. Sarge quote tweets him and says, give it to J-Station to give the worst troll take of the day. Jay responds, I'm not trolling, to which Steven says, I don't doubt for a second that you are being genuine. It's your brand. J-Station responds, I'd hate to be you. You just stick to what's gonna be acceptable to your group. Putin really is the last hope in the entire world. I'd move there already, but my country banned my freedoms to come and go as I please. Steven responds, I think you've spent so many years exercising Muppets that you no longer have a grasp on what reality actually is. What group am I in? Jay responds, you're a liberal. For America tweets out, this missile attack is brought to you by Applebee's. This is CNN.
and a little bit of chicken fried. Cold beer on a Friday night, a pair of jeans that fit just right.
Marty Swant tweets out Applebee's response to this and captions it by saying, I asked Applebee's about the now viral ad that aired on CNN today, during the live broadcast of Russia's attack on Ukraine, and just got the following statement. The statement reads out, we are deeply concerned about the situation in Ukraine. When we were made aware that our ad was placed in this manner, we immediately reached out to CNN to pause our advertising on their network. It never should have aired, and we are disappointed in the actions of the network. Statement attributed to an Applebee's spokesperson. Marty continues by saying, I've also asked for clarity around the terms of the ad deal, since TV buys like this are often part of a much larger package, and planned way in advance, so very likely Applebee's had no idea the ad would air when it did. Moving on, Annaline McCord made a Twitter video titled, Dear Mr. President Vladimir Putin.
Dear President Vladimir Putin, I'm so sorry that I was not your mother. If I was your mother, you would have been so loved, held in the arms of joyous light. Never would the stories plight the world unfurled before our eyes, a pure demise of nations sitting peaceful under a night sky. If I was your mother, the world would have been warm. So much laughter and joy, and nothing would harm. I can't imagine the stain, the soul-stealing pain that the little boy you must have seen and believed, and the formulation of thought quickly taught that you lived in a cruel, unjust world. Is this why you now decide no one will get the best of you? Is this why you do not hide nor away shy from taking back the world? Was it because so early in life all that strife racked your little body with fear? If I was your mother, if the world was cold, I'd have died to make you warm. I'd have died to protect you from the unjust, the violence, the terror, the uncertainty. I would have died to give you life. Oh, dear Mr. President Putin, if only I'd been your mother. Perhaps the torture of unwrit youth would not within your heart imbue ascription to such fealty against that world that you thought was so cruel. Perhaps you would hold dear human life, and on this night, instead of Mother Russia, you would call me, and I would set your mind quite free with the love that only a mother can give, and only a mother can take away. When holds she doesn't the harm at bay and leaves her boy for the promise of a man. Whatever your story, Mr. President Putin, I can't imagine how it feels in your heart, but I know if I was your mother, that would be a start towards the awareness of what a powerful being of light you could be if your mind was only free from the violence you've seen when you were just 2 or 3. I cannot believe I was born too late, in a different place, when I would have loved you so, watched you play wherever you go.
This tweet received 37k likes and 64k quote retweets. Hard Factor responded to it by saying, finally, pure cringe. Seth Everman says, Dear Anna, I'm sorry that I was not your mother. You would have been so loved, held in the arms of joyous light. Never would I have named you Annaline. Well, maybe out of spite. So much laughter, never bitter. And nothing would make you post this to Twitter. Dolan Dark says, Gal Gadot has competition. Nopify responds, imagine all the Putins. No Nothing TV says, ignore the haters, queen. Don't let them stop you from pouring your heart out. By the way, if you need someone to talk to, my DMs are open. Voss responds, vouch. Someone near Gamers quote tweets Annaline and says, I wouldn't mind getting nuked to be honest after watching this. He also tweets out, I keep doom scrolling and seeing nukes trending. Guys, the world leaders are really stupid, but not stupid to end the world overnight. Let's hope. I hope. Completely unrelated to this entire topic, but Minx posted a selfie, and then PSA Rocco too somehow tied it back into the Ukraine situation by responding, there is an invasion of Ukraine happening right now, and this is what you decide to post? Minx responds, motherfucker, I posted a selfie? What the fuck am I gonna do to stop Russia from invading Ukraine? Rihanna responds, can't believe Minx is invading Ukraine. Einaber says, getting mad at influencers for posting things that aren't just Russia is so funny. Bro, we don't have access to the Russian nuclear codes. What do you expect me to do? Please go DM Biden or something. Stephen King tweets out, what most of us learned as kids on the playground. You don't stand by while a big kid beats up a little kid. You might take a punch or two, making the big kid stop, but that's the right thing to do. Justin Wang then quote tweets him, with an army official gesturing to an empty chair. While this situation is going on, The Weeknd tweets out, "Let's go!" To which Jory responds, "Bro tweeted this while World War III is going on." Rick Savage responds, "I mean, not the best timing," showing that The Weeknd tweeted that just as the breaking news of Russia's invasion was coming out. Robert shows a screenshot of his iPhone and says, "This is what I saw." Showing news for you, Vladimir Putin announced a special military operation in eastern Ukraine. And then The Weeknd 15 minutes ago saying, "Let's go!" Jay Schlatt responds, "At a time like this?" Lazar Beam responds, "Timing, mate." The Weeknd then tweets out, "Unfortunately, I'm just now seeing what's happening with the conflict, and will pause on tomorrow's announcement. I pray for everyone's safety." Ukraine continues tweeting when they say, "Hey people, let's demand Twitter to remove Russia from here. No place for an aggressor like Russia on Western social media platforms. They should not be allowed to use these platforms to promote their image while brutally killing the Ukrainian people. At Twitter support. Tag Russia, and tell them what you think about them." Mudahar quote tweets him and says, "Okay, Ukraine. You do realize that targeted harassment is against Twitter TOS, right? Jokes aside, fuck Russia." And I fully agree. As funny as some of the tweets have been about this on Twitter, obviously the humor doesn't take away from the seriousness of the situation. Both can coexist at the same time. So as much as I'm indulging in the memes by making this video, I do want to express my condolences and support to the people of Ukraine. It is really fucked up that this is happening, and I hope this is resolved quickly and peacefully. I'm not really familiar with the internal politics of all of this. I just hope people don't die and people are safe, and this ends in the best way possible, even if that may be unrealistic. Anyways, that's about it for the video. I'll see you guys later.